Okay, it is 12:02. Let's go ahead and get started. If anybody else joins, then I'll admit them here and they can just walk in. Okay, so I will hand it over to Lori for roll call and then we'll introduce anyone else that we don't call.
Let's see, Shelley Intricate online.
Here.
Barb Long. Who said that?
That was Shelley.
Okay. Barb Long. Audra Miles.
Here.
Joe Coffin. Craig Boynton.
Here.
Anna Fuchs. David Luders. Mary Patton. Allison Borland.
Here.
Tracy Dowell. Shannon Peterson. Megan Brake.
Here.
Alicia Dalt. Tyler Rogers.
Here.
Alexandria Maxwell.
Here.
Dawn Harper.
Here.
Jody Scott.
Here.
Online. Johnson. Kylie Rathman. Chris Mitchell. Connie Shiley. Jim Brimner. Fred Cassidy.
Here.
Online.
Is that all right. Okay, so we'll do quick introductions for anyone whose name we did not call. So we'll go around the room here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gavin. I'm with Trail County Regional Planning Commission.
All right, let's see who else. Jared.
Hello, Jared from Edmore, Snyder Village.
Nice. Honorary member. We got Haley.
So I am famous time for congratulations.
All right, and I think everyone else has been called, so I'll move online. Adriana Leach, do you want to introduce yourself and say where you're from?
Hi, I'm from Snyder Village.
Okay. All right. Oh, I see. You got a different last name there. Okay, we've got Marie from Ivysill. Just want to say hello.
This is Marie Augebright from the Illinois Valley Center for Independent Living.
All right, welcome. I think we got everybody. Did I miss anyone? Okay. Welcome, come on in. And since you just walked in, can you introduce yourself? Welcome.
In September. Was the previous person, so we're trying to develop HSTP meetings in either.
Perfect. Your timing is perfect. All right. And I will mention right now that since we have folks coming from different regions, Dawn has graciously offered to give a tour of this building, Epic, after this meeting. So whoever wants to join, you're free to stay, but that's optional. All right. So moving on to public comment. Have any public comment today? Okay, and then we're moving to the approval of minutes. We don't quite have a quorum, right? We're a couple off. Okay, so no quorum. That means we cannot approve the minutes. However, if anyone has any comments on any of these or changes, edits. Okay. And one note, this happened before in the past that we had some minutes like built up. And according to the Open Meetings Act, we don't actually have to approve minutes from a meeting that had no quorum. So just because if for the next time, the packet will be getting bigger for me to keep adding them, I will just have the June 3rd, 2025 minutes on the next one. So you can always view any of the minutes online. But the June 3rd one is the one that had a quorum, so we'll start with that next year. Okay, and so now I will move on to number 4. We're gonna have 2 presentations today. The first one is from Craig Boynton from Galesburg, and the next one is from me. So we'll start with Galesburg, and let me share my screen. One moment. Okay. Okay.
I have teacher voice, so people can normally hear me. Galesburg, transportation and fixed route system. On the list, it says urban public transportation. I will use the term urban loosely because we're probably one of the smaller fixed route systems in Illinois between us, Quincy, and Macomb. We currently operate 4 fixed routes. 3 of these are 60-minute loop routes. One was a 30-minute loop. We are currently a flag stop system, so they can flag us down anywhere and we generally pick them up. We are hopefully moving away from that. Service is Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6:15 p.m. Key destinations are downtown, retail, medical, Knox College, and then also Carl Sandburg Junior College. We do have handyman paratransit services to complement the system as well. Key challenges that we've found, we do have long travel times on our loop system with our limited hours and no Sunday service. Routes unchanged since the 1990s. They have been modified a bit. Building and securing a reliable fleet of vehicles, securing staff, and then funding constraints. We commissioned a study earlier in 2020, actually it would be 2024, then to 2024 into early 2025. It was a comprehensive system audit to identify some inefficiencies that we have, evaluate countywide needs. Specifically, the study was to look at the countywide, but we also wanted to look at the routes just to see if we were on the money or if we needed to make some changes. And then also develop a data-driven vision. Proposed recommendations from the study included replace the loop system with bidirectional routes, expand from 4 to 5 routes, move away from flag stops, improve travel times, and clear navigation. So for broader access, we also we're recommending countywide on-demand service, longer hours, future regional route operations, and improved stops and signage and shelters. Estimated cost for the changing of the fixed route system is about $750,000. That would create more routes and hours, higher cost of operations. Then our capital needs would be buses, additional stops, transfer center, which we're actually looking into doing in the future. And then many of these items will be eligible for state and federal funding if grants become available. Pros of the changes, shorter, more reliable trips, better access to employment and medical care, stronger regional connections, and better positioning for grants, as we'd have more information to share with the grant applications. Some of the cons and risks, more staffing and vehicles needed, the rider learning curve with the change, dependent on multi-year grant cycles, and then it would need to be phased in. And then I also put in there the bi-directional change would leave some areas out that are currently being served with the loop routes. So for a recommended path forward, our phase 1 is to switch from flag stops to planned stops only for efficiency. This ties in with we have implemented a new route with a new app with Passio Go that manages our fixed route system so that patrons can see where the bus is at, how soon it's going to get to them. We're updating our GTFS files so that we are going to be more accurate for the riders. The one concern that we have is our gold route, which is supposed to be the express route. Over the years, numerous items have been added to that route to cover areas that were not covered under the regular fixed routes. And so it's increased that route from the intended 30 minutes to closer to 45 minutes. So we're going to have to book through that on that route, which we want to make sure that our drivers are going safely too. So we're analyzing that. We're working with the county to secure funding on county demand. Tentatively, they actually have money in the budget for next year. So we are going to pursue going countywide. It's our intent. Then phase 3, we're going to analyze data collected from the new software surveys. With this new app, we can actually, and the software that we have, we can actually start tracking where we're having the heaviest volume with our stops. And that's going to help us for the future as to how we can modify, or if we can take away some stops where they're just not being utilized. And then phase 4, we would explore regional routes and a new transfer center. We work closely with Monmouth, which is about 17 miles from us. And so we're working with them to attempt to, they actually have, they call the bus, which is the Warren Achievement Center bus. They come to Galesburg twice a day. And we are looking to eventually offset them by doing a different time and then share rides. That's really all I have for this one. It's a quick one compared to what we had for rural.
All right.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have questions for Craig?
What kinds of additions or modifications are you making to the signage?
Signage, we really don't have very good signage right now. The signage that was in place is probably from the 1980s. So some of the things that we're looking at along with the implementation of the software is I want to put signage at the shelters that actually has just a QR code for somebody to scan so that they can download the app. And then at each one of our stops of the actual fixed route, we're wanting to put signage on there that's showing that it is a bus stop, and color coded, and also put in labeling on there which route it serves.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I've got one. So you mentioned others like Quincy. Did you study those, or are you thinking of those kind of as a model?
Quincy and Galesburg actually talk regularly. They have an existing fixed route place. They were going through a similar study for offering countywide. So our conversations are geared more towards the countywide portion of the transportation, but we share ideas back and forth regularly on what works in a smaller community. The one thing we found is the firm that we used to do the study suggested the bidirectional routes. And when we actually presented that to members of our community, they gave it a big thumbs down. They don't like it. They like the looped type system because it can get them additional places.
Interesting. Okay. Do have one more question, but I'll open it up again. Go ahead, Chairman.
Did you say how many routes have you run?
We run a total of 4. We have 3 1-hour looped routes. And then we have what we call the express route, which is supposed to be a 30-minute route, but it actually takes about 40. Yeah, so going away from the flag, I'm kind of excited about that. It's going to be a change, but it's going to be way safer for us as well, because we have people that are just, you'll go 3 blocks and you're stopping at times, and it's just not conducive, and it's hard on the vehicles too. Yes.
What did you use for the study, and how did you fund it out of normal operating money, or did that happen?
IDOT actually funded the study, and it was Nelson and Nygaard. There were 2 that were finalists when we did the RFP, and it was Trans Systems who actually did the statewide study, and then Nelson Nygaard. Trans Systems had actually looked at the system probably in 2018, 2019, they did a bird's eye view of the study. And we wanted to have a fresh set of eyes, so we wanted to choose Nelson Nygaard so that we could compare the information to it. Yep. And I know Nelson Nygaard, when they completed their study, they used a lot of technology to come up with their solutions as far as they pulled cell phone data to look at what the traffic patterns were. And my argument with them going into that was the fact that you can pull the cell phone data to get the traffic patterns, but a lot of those people are riding in vehicles, so they're not going to be our market that we may need to really address.
And my other question is, you listed all the phases, which actually I can just go right there. Do you know approximately how long it'll take to go through each phase, like timeline?
Oh, if I had a crystal ball, I would say the phase one can happen pretty quickly with the flag stops. We're actually working towards that for this year. Working with the county with the recent information I've discussed with county, I think that could actually happen probably the next year and a half. We're going to slowly implement that. I've talked a little bit to Dave Schaefer about implementing this, so we're working towards the next fiscal year budget. And that analyze the technical, the data collection and the new software surveys. I want to give that a good year before we would actually start making any considerations with that, because I want to make sure we get enough data throughout the months. And then as far as exploring regional routes in the new transfer center, that's all funding.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got one more in my turn. I think that Galesburg could be an interesting case study for Peoria because we know that you have the Amtrak connection there. I just want to know, do you have any other, you have Greyhound also serves that area?
We had Trailways, and Trailways went defunct. So there is actually a company that has purchased Trailways, and I can't tell you what the name of that company is. This is Jefferson, and we have been talking to them about serving Galesburg as well. Because I know there are some individuals, I know there was a daily Peoria run,
Yes.
and it was like, it's,
Person comes over to transit.
okay, yeah, because it's like, from Galesburg, it was like $21. That's a cheap trip for somebody if they need to go. So one of the things that we're looking at with the long term is the new transfer center. The city has been proactive in buying property that is around the Amtrak station right now, because right now our transfer center is at an intersection of Main Street and Prairie Street, and we're actually on the street. So whenever the street gets closed for a parade or if there's a downtown event, we get moved. And it's not great for the patrons that utilize the service because it's confusing because they'll walk down here to get to the bus and then the bus isn't there. We try to advertise it on Facebook and with the app, but people still aren't picking it up. And we want to make sure that we have a dedicated area in the future to where people can utilize that. And one of the reasons we're looking at the property that we're looking at for the transfer center is due to interoperability with the fact that we have the bus station there and the Amtrak station there. We figure it might actually open us up to possibly some federal money that will pay for it, so.
So do you think there will be issues with people worried about the challenge to the existing connections? So for instance, people raised the objection to the Bloomington Peoria route that's been proposed in the past. But people said, well, we already have Peoria charter coach that serves that purpose. And I assume those same kinds of objections might be raised.
Between Galesburg and Monmouth,
I don't know if it's common.
you're not gonna have that type of objection. I think it would actually be welcomed.
Okay.
Because I know with Warren County, with the WAC bus that they use twice a day right now, they have a pretty good ridership with that. And we've actually been working with, so for instance, we have a service agreement with Knox County Housing Authority for our fixed route system. They're able to get a grant through the Galesburg Community Foundation to where their patrons show their ID when they get on the bus. They ride our buses for free, and then we get reimbursed from KCHA at the end of the month. That was extended to Warren County as well with Warren County Housing Authority. And their patrons are now coming over on the WAC bus, and then they're able to use our system during the day and with the same with the same reimbursement basically. So we're hoping to be able to be reciprocal to where we can get more people coming back and forth between Galesburg and Monmouth, because that just generates more revenue for us as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice. I just heard on the radio this morning that Peoria Charter Coach has filed for bankruptcy. So that's a sad note to add. Hopefully they can still continue, but
Okay.
yeah,
They're gonna continue to function.
okay,
Is that
there
right?
you go.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Moving along. So we will jump to the next agenda item, and that is CVP updates. And that is me. So I'll share my screen again. Okay. All right. So these, I'm going to start out by saying that all the notes that I have are from Zoe Keller of IDOT. So I'm just relaying this information. And I'm going to start with what is CVP. If you've been here for a while, you might have heard about this, you know about it more, but it's the Consolidated Vehicle Procurement Program. CVP program through IDOT provides capital funding that's originally it's federal capital funding, and you can replace or purchase new ADA accessible vehicles. And it's aimed at transporting seniors and people with disabilities. So this program has been going on for many years. Several folks here today and not here today have received a grant to purchase vehicles in the past. So basically you get them for free, but the catch is that IDOT has to monitor your program. So you have to make sure to do it right. So nothing is truly free, but this is a good way to receive vehicles for the folks you want to transport. So periodically this program opens up. And now we're getting close to a new grant. So in about March 2026 is the expected application release time. And I will say now, I'm going to send all this information to everybody. So there's a lot of words coming up, but you can feel free to read them afterwards. So March expected application release, and then the due date will be May. And then July is the anticipated award announcement. So if you're aware of Black Cat, this is a website that many of us use for grants through the state of Illinois. If you've never done this before, then you can email Zoe Keller and she can get you on there. So that is where this application will be based, on Black Cat. And this is GATA notes. If you currently do not receive 5311 or 5307 funds, this is probably are already aware of this for those who qualify for GATA. But basically, when you submit for this application, if you choose to do so, you will see this dashboard the green and white dashboard, and it will basically tell you if you are good on certain status of different items. And basically you will not be able to submit the application if there's anything in red. So if it doesn't say good on any one of these. And then here's where all the dense words start. I promise I will summarize, and you will get this afterwards. But just some notes going into preparing for the application, even though I'm not showing the actual application here. But if you have totaled vehicles, so any vehicle that you received from IDOT originally through this program that has been totaled, that's not yet replaced, then you would apply in this way to receive a replacement. And then another note that Zoe wanted to specify is that just ask for everything that you need. If you feel like you're asking for too much, just ask for what you need, because worst case, you don't get everything you want, but best case, you get everything you need. So just go for it. in terms of mileage criteria, so there are specific criteria that you have to reach to basically to be able to replace an IDOT vehicle. If for some reason your vehicle is very old, hasn't been used quite as much as you want, the mileage is not quite there, you can still potentially get a replacement. You just have to justify that. And then finally, on this slide, if you want to request a different type of vehicle than you already have, you are free to do so. You just make a justification. And that could go either way if you need more, like a larger vehicle or a smaller vehicle. All right, so this is a specific section called project justification. It is now a requirement for all applications. I haven't filled this out, so if you filled this out in the past, you know exactly what it is. And I should have said at the beginning, so this CVP application is open for any public agency or nonprofit. So those are all eligible. Okay, and then we have the level of current service. In the past, the hours of service was factored into scoring. But they are deciding not to do it that way this time. But they're still just asking for that information to have the data. So that won't hurt you if you're kind of a smaller agency and you still want to go for this grant, you have lower hours. So that is not going to hurt you this time. So coordination efforts, that's why we're here today. I like seeing everyone's face, but also if you apply for this grant, you get higher points if you come to these meetings, and you get lower points if you don't come to the meetings. And this is actually in our bylaws as well. So the only part that I play in scoring these applications is IDOT asks me, did this organization have representation at your HSTP meetings? And I could say yes, yes, or medium, or no. So thanks for being here. You are helping in that regard. And there are other ways, like coordination is a broad word. So if you do other things as well, then that could help you too. All right, documentation. So they're going to request that you upload certain documents, and you won't get any credit for the documents unless you upload them by the deadline. So that one is kind of straightforward, and make sure that they're organized in that way. And then we're going to end here. So I just gave you several notes, and you might understand this more if you've done this in the past, but if you haven't before, then that's perfectly fine. There will be virtual application classes that will go through in detail, like this is what Black Cat looks like. This is what it is if you've never applied. So this isn't the only introduction, but I wanted to give kind of all these points to understand that, start to get you thinking on if you want a vehicle, if you have vehicles that are creeping up to that, they just really need to be replaced, then this is something to think about. And I think that's it. So I will send more information, and IDOT will as well. Especially if you have received vehicles in the past, IDOT will send information to you as well. But I will just blanket send to anybody. So I wanted to just give you a taste of what the CVP program is and kind of some of these new things to consider. So I don't have any initial questions. I don't have too many specifics, but let's see what I got. All right. Okay. Sounds good. I will send all of this to everyone. Okay, moving along to the updates. And I will, we'll go around the room this way, and then we will jump online. So if you have anything to share about your organization today, then go for it. Audra. All right. All right, anything more? Right. I know John and Haley are here for this time, but if you want to share anything, go for it.
Just from our tag, if anybody doesn't know, we do free training. We have an online Capco platform that we paid subscription for. So you can email myself or Mabel Krebs. And we can set you up with that. We do free in-person training with a few different trainers. For any agency, 5311, 5310, you do that once a year. It's passive driving, emergency procedures, and passenger assistance. We've got a January 1st training coming up in Springfield. We're going to do the IPTA. So Laura, Calder, and her team are going to facilitate training and working with elected officials. Be at 1 p.m. January 21st at Springfield Mass Transit, our training room. And we have our RTEC conference, March 3rd to 5th, Springfield and Northfield. It's a free registration. It's on our website right now. And then we've got the statewide rodeo coming up April 25th. So stuff, he's coming up this year. So.
Nice. All right, sounds good. Dr. Shamer Robertson.
We don't have too much to update besides, We Drive You, this will be their second week of service for City Lift. So they want to bid as many people. So we no longer have Transdev as the company that facilitates the City Lift service. So I'll have more information maybe by January, but since it's so new and fresh, I'm just gathering
Okay,
information as we go.
sounds good. Thanks. David Looters.
Not a lot, just trying to get a places.
Okay, is that through IDOT? Do you know? Okay, and so you've talked to Jeff Waxman? Okay, yeah.
That's why there's a whole list. We have, I think, 4 that we're trying to dispose of too.
Oof. All right, well, good luck. That's all I can offer. Jared. Ooh. All right, sounds good. Tyler? Okay, Allison?
Tazewell Mason Special Ed and East Peoria High School are hosting the Tazewell County Resource Fair this year. We usually have one every year somewhere in Tazewell County. So this is for students ages 14 and up, or actually any age really, that need resources, students with disabilities. So if your agency services that population, please feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to have someone represent your agency there. So if someone will be here that might want a booth there, you can reach out to me. And it's April 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. at East Peoria High School.
Yes, sounds great. Okay, Gavin, you want to share anything?
Work is continuing on the bus stop accessibility plan. Maybe a few months down the road, I'll provide another presentation, but work is continuing.
Okay, and so now we're gonna move online. I'm just gonna go in the order that I see on my screen. Adriana, do you have anything more to add for Snyder Village?
No, thank you.
Okay, how about Don Cook?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. I did have a quick question. Do we have any idea how much funding is going to be allocated for the CVP funding?
No, I don't know. I can pass along that question.
Just curious.
Okay.
Thank
How
you
about
and
Greg
happy
Cassidy?
holidays.
Oh. Thank you, Dawn, you as well. Next one I have Greg Cassidy.
No updates.
All right, how about Jody Scott?
No updates.
Okay, we got two more. Marie from Ivysill.
I do not have any additional updates.
Okay, sounds good. Cruising along. How about Shelley Entrican?
No updates.
Okay. All right, wow, almost done. Okay, so moving on to my coordinator report. And honestly, the only thing I had, John said it, so the RTAC conference will be March 3rd through 5th. It's free to register. Anybody here with an interest in transit is welcome. My other pitch for that is that I'll be part of a HSTP coordinator panel. And Shelley Entrican from Fulton County will also join that. So that'll be exciting to talk more about transit. Okay, and that's really all I had for my coordinator report. Winding down the year. So I'll ask, does anyone have any other that you want to mention? Right. Ooh. Wrapping it up very quickly. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, February 3rd in the new year, still at noon and still in this location. So hopefully the weather will cooperate. Thanks again for coming. I know this was the secondary date. And February has also been iffy in the past, so I will keep an eye on that as we get closer. But for now, we'll plan for February 3rd. And that's all. Thanks for coming. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. All the things. See you in 2026. Yes. Will do. Yes. Presentation? Yes. Yes. Okay, good.